Oh, heavy stuff today, guys. Very, very heavy stuff. How's everybody doing today? I just finished season 2 of Squid Game, one of my favorite shows of all time. Absolutely. Dang, that season. No spoilers, obviously, but if you have watched it and stuff, you have some thoughts, feel free to hit me up on Discord, because my goodness. My goodness. Yeah. Anyways, hello and welcome to Stuff. Part 4 of the Kane-Not-Kosugi MARATHon. You might see me just kind of stick this up against my face occasionally. I nicked myself while shaving. I haven't done that in forever. Right here on my chin, I don't know if you guys can see, there's a spot on my chin, like a little scar, from like the first time I ever shaved. And I have not cut myself while shaving since. And today is the first day in years that has happened. A little embarrassing. This was like not even 30 minutes ago as well, so that's frustrating. Well, whatever. Who all is here? We got Radium, Ninja Gamer, Poke. How's it going, everybody? Just 3 videos left, including this one. And then the uploads on Kane-Not-Kosugi stop. Some wild stuff. We've hit the end, man. I actually am editing the last video after this stream. So, crazy stuff. Oh, I didn't put the chat on screen. Hello. Let's put the chat on the screen. I knew I was forgetting something. Just beep boop. There we go. Now I cover up more of the frame. Are we ready to go? I feel like we're ready to go. I feel like you guys are just patiently waiting. You guys can all hear me well. Checking my mic, checking my headset. Perfect. Yeah, we're chilling. Awesome. We are good to go. It was a legendary era. Yes. Yes. And after Kane-Not-Kosugi, a new era will begin. What that looks like? Go ask TSN or something. I don't know. Alright, well, let's get into it. In this stream, I will be ranking all of the Ninja Warrior specials that came out in 2024. Now, what is a special? It is an episode of Ninja Warrior that is not a part of the main event or regular season. So no qualifiers or, semifinals or finals. These are, your one-off episodes that have different formats, different whatever, different twists. Sometimes they're competitions on obstacles, and other times it's just people talking. So how does all of that stack up? This is the longest list of my, the longest list of the year, because there are 14 specials on this list, and we are going from the bottom to the top, from 14 all the way up to number 1. Let's roll. Starting off with number 14, Sasuke Koshin 2. This thing sucks. This special sucked. It's short because I can fast forward through it. It's not that short. This crap was awful. The events were the same as before, but like people sucked at the monkey bars. Like sucked on monkey bars, and you want to be on Sasuke. You can't handle monkey bars, but you want to be on Sasuke. Freaking idiots. For one, there's that. I just have to get that out of the way. That's stupid. But the other thing was the refs sucked. These 3 points all kind of grouped together. They just straight up made the wrong calls. When the red team was facing the blue team and it came down to the sit-ups, and the red and blue team both missed the same amount of, or like they both missed at the same time. The blue team kid, he definitely touched the buzzer to count the sit-up. He like grazed it with his finger, and you see the buzzer literally, if this is the buzzer, you see it go, like it's ever so slightly tips, but you see it, and they slow-mo it, and they don't slow-mo it to be like, look guys, he technically got it, he won. They go, look guys, he didn't get it. We have to redo it. That's just straight up the wrong call. And that ruined a big chunk of it. So blue team didn't even get to go to the finals for this when they deserved to. Instead, red team went to the finals against white team. And white team won and got to be on Sasuke 42 because one of their guys finished, but the other two failed rolling hill. All three members of the red team made it to the fishbone. Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can have the second, third, and fourth best results and not have, as a team, outperformed first, fifth, and sixth. That's ridiculous to me. Oh no, sorry. We did have a clear on the red team as well. So there were two buzzers, one on each team. So that should kind of cancel out. But like, no. For whatever reason, they put the worst team through that only had one good person. Although I will say, the one kid on white team who cleared, his run in the actual tournament, that was probably my personal most heartbreaking run of the tournament. So, jeez, like when he timed up and just kind of started like wailing at the bottom of the warped wall because like that was his dream and he feels like he blew it. Like, felt, dude. I get it. So, yeah. Sasuke Koshin 2, by far the worst special of the year. Not even from a quality standpoint. Just like, again, they made some stupid calls, some stupid decisions, and it made it a lot less enjoyable as a result. Number 13 is the Super Ninja 3 Unseen Runs. This is nice because it's about an hour long, and it shows you runs of the competitors who were either cut or fast-forwarded or mid-cut from the regular season. The cons is that they decided, let's make fluff pieces for everyone. I guess that's their MO when it comes to making Super Ninja. They give every single person a fluff piece and then just decide afterwards, oh, we're going to not show this person. We're going to show this person. We're going to not show them. So they just are sitting on all of this extra footage, and this just felt like they said, well, we still have all of this. We could make an extra episode if we want. And, I mean, that brings us to our next con. These people weren't shown in full for a reason. Out of all of the, after all of the runs, hi, Billy. By the end of the episode, only one person made it past the third obstacle. And not many people made it to the third obstacle to begin with. It was a very bland episode of lackluster results and 5-minute profile pieces that were a thing for these people with lackluster results. They were either mid-cut or digested, and it should have just stayed that way. I didn't really need to see this one. Number 12 is the Garemon 2 behind-the-scenes episode. I like it because it's short. It goes into detail about how they designed the course. I always like seeing the course design stuff. But I will say for about half the episode, which is an hour long or so, or I think less, like 40 minutes, this was basically just a recap of the regular season with some little fun facts thrown in there every now and then. And that's not very engaging to me. It just doesn't have that wow factor. You get to, in other behind the scenes episodes, we've seen some in France, we've seen some in Russia, they get to go and they'll talk about the construction, the testing, the hosting, the waiting area for the competitors, the sideline reporters, the audience. Like, they were hitting every single angle, and this was just kind of like, well, here's how we made the obstacles, and the hosts are here as well, and then this is what happened in the season. It wasn't very exciting. A little too repetitive for my liking, so it's at number 12. At number 11 is the Super Ninja Kids behind the scenes episode. This would have been higher. It genuinely would have been higher because it checks off all the boxes I was saying. It had people, you were covering different sections of what makes a ninja show. You were talking about the testers. You were talking about the medical staff. You were talking about the course design. You know, everything was being discussed. But then there was an entire fluff piece on kids having panic attacks, and they recapped and montaged all of the children who broke down into tears because they lost a race or fell off an obstacle. I didn't like it in the regular season. I didn't need a 6-minute recap showing me that again. Simple as that. All right, we are now going to jump into our top 10 out of 14. Top 10. Number 10 is the Sasuke 42 Idol Trials. This was, yeah, okay. These were 8 short YouTube videos. Some of them were a little longer. Some of them were like 8 minutes. And you know what? I was okay with that because it made everything a lot more digestible. I think if I had to sit through like a 2-hour special of this, I would have rammed my head into a wall. It was also somewhat competitive. Like, there were definitely some people who you were like, yeah, you are definitely getting last place. But honestly, like, when you get to like first, second, third, there was a competition going on, knowing that there was only one spot on Sasuke 42 and then the Fighting Spirit Award. You know, it was interesting to see how that would play out. But some of the events were underwhelming, like jumping over the little sweeper that they have, running sprints, and the last person getting eliminated each time. It was all right. It was all right. You can't see it behind the black box, but my last con is, why are there so many middle-aged men watching young women do athletic stuff? I wish I had put a screenshot of the audience from these videos in this presentation. But if you were to take a picture of like 100 people in that crowd, I think there were maybe 2 women and maybe 5 men under the age of 45. There's just something about that seems really pervy. I don't know the Japanese culture like that, so I don't want to judge, but there is something really unsettling about it because it feels like a bunch of old men preying on racehorses in a sense. And they're all decked out in the Idols merch as well. And like, I don't know. Maybe it's normal over there, but there is something about that just kind of made me a little uncomfortable. Regardless of if I'm wrong about that or not, this would not jump any higher if I'm wrong. Like, this still deserves number 10 no matter what, because I think everything else that comes next is significantly better. Number 9 is going to be the Sasuke 42 Trials, the regular ones. The episodes were shorter. They stopped doing reactions. Well, they had some, but they stopped doing like hour-long episodes for this. Some of the episodes were not even 30 minutes, and thank goodness, because I did not want to sit through an hour of, good point, Radium. Yeah, I did not want to sit through an hour of push-ups or sprints, even though they added, whatever. I'll get to that in a second. I'm glad these were shorter episodes. There were better twists to the events, like adding the hurdle over the sprints. It actually did add a bit of a layer to it that I thought made it a little more interesting, definitely more interesting than running in a straight line and running back. At least there was some type of obstacle. I thought the final round was all right. The repechage was a good idea in theory, and I like that there were repechage rounds or people that got to be in the repechage because I've been saying it forever. Running and doing push-ups and doing sit-ups or whatever, it just doesn't translate over directly to Sasuke. This time around, they put a dead hang competition in there, which I'll at least give them credit for that because you do need the upper body strength. So, like, credit where credit's due. The dead hang one I thought was fine. However, the repechage execution wasn't entertaining. If you have not watched the trials, I'll summarize the repechage episode for you. The YouTube videos on the Sasuke channel where they show you the open auditions, and it's Inui and a bunch of other casting directors sitting in a room either across from someone or across a monitor that has someone auditioning in front of them. That's exactly what this was. Pretty much. And there was just no action there, so that wasn't very fun. It's a lame last episode. The events do still need to be more centered around Ninja, but hey, we actually got some product out of the trials this time around. We actually had people from the trials do well. So dude, Donovan got so robbed. I really wanted Donovan to get further. Hopefully he gets another shot. Hopefully he gets another shot. Donovan, we love you, man. I can't make a fist right now. My finger's taped. Anyways, number 8 is the Ninja Warrior Germany Celebrity Special. This is, it says 8 behind my camera right here next to Celeb. It's the 8th one. So, some of the pros. The competitors got better. And this is not just one of those, yes, it is for charity. It's kind of like the A&W Red Nose stuff. But these guys have been getting invited back as many as like 4 or 5 times. So they actually are like somewhat decent at Ninja. They know kind of what to expect. Hi, Jakari. And so, you know, the competitors actually got better. You can tell which ones trained and actually prepared for the competition. Case in point, majority of them could not do a salmon ladder last year or the year before. And the final round was a 15-rung salmon ladder and a rope climb. And people were actually beating it or getting close to beating it. So, like, yeah, and that's the other thing. Some of the celebs, they compete on the show as regular contestants as well. Thank you for bringing that up. So, like, yeah, quality overall was there. I like that it's for charity, and the courses were much more balanced than I feel they have been in the past. There is a difference when you're designing a course between easy obstacles and obstacles made easier. Easy obstacles are still very failable for people who don't regularly do Ninja. You know, if an easy obstacle is considered a lache, there's a chance that people who don't do Ninja are not going to land that lache. Or a slow, or like a simple balance obstacle, there's still a way people will mess that up. They nerfed everything to make it as beatable as possible, to get as much money as possible, and it led to some better results. So shout out to the course designers for actually making it not a bloodbath and not super boring. The cons, you know, there are still competitors that are really trash. So, yeah, I don't know how else to put it. It's just kind of trash. There, you still have some people who are failing on the second or third obstacle, but that's just like some of them were first timers. I don't know. I don't even know. Anyways, number 7, kicking off the top half of the leaderboard, 7 out of 14, is the Super Ninja 3 behind the scenes episode. The pros: this covers every aspect of the show. It's properly paced. There's only one con, and it's that there's no actual runs shown. You get some stuff of testers on obstacles and whatnot, and that's really cool. I just would prefer if I were to watch a special, if I were to pick, I'd pick something that actually has competitors running a course versus a BTS episode. But still a very good episode. This is just like that fully comes down to my biases. And if the Super Ninja Kids episode of Behind the Scenes did not have that segment on kids crying, it would probably be around this range of placements as well. So, Super Ninja 3 Behind the Scenes. Number 6 is going to be the Sasuke 42 Kurotora Trials. It's got decent pacing. This was a short YouTube series for the Black Tigers to qualify for Sasuke 42. And it's by far the best Sasuke trial that they've got going on. It actually, has ninja obstacles and Sasuke obstacles in there. It shows the progress of all the Black Tigers. You see a lot of, growth between the last Kurotora trial and this year's, which you gotta respect. One of my favorite things about it as well is, hold on. What is this? My orders got delayed. Anyways. Okay, yeah, for the Black Tigers, I mean, one of my favorite things about this as well is that they're running the same course 2 or 3 times, and that means it forces consistency. It's not just, oh, if you do it once, you know, that means that you're going to get in the one time. No, you have to be consistent. I like that they force that over there, because it ensures that the one who deserves it the most gets their shot on Sasuke. So I definitely appreciate that. It is a little repetitive with the multiple runs in terms of editing. They try and fast forward some of it, but there are parts where I'm just like, man, we're doing this again. Wow. Because by the time you get to like your 12th or 13th run, it's like, geez, this is the same thing 12 or 13 times. But it happens in like 15 minutes, so it's really not that bad. That's why it's up at number 6. I would like for this to be like something televised. Genuinely. I would not. Why is it on YouTube? Get it off of YouTube. I enjoyed it that much. I would actually want to watch this, like, over the trials, over the regular trials, which get to be on TV for some stupid reason. But this gets to be on YouTube? Dumb. Put this on TV. All right, we're jumping into our top 5 now. Top 5. Number 5 is Ninja Warrior Germany's Japan Special. For those who need the context, RTL and the Ninja Warrior Germany team sent a camera crew over to Japan to follow Team Germany during the Sasuke World Cup to get their perspective of it. The pros, it didn't drag. This was very short because, you know, Team Germany got last place. They got eliminated on stage 1. So there wasn't a lot to show. We did get to see more of the runs of the German competitors that were not, you know, that got fast forwarded in whatever, 6th, last. It don't matter. It don't matter. They got last. They lost on the same stage as Legend with the old people. They got last. Period. I don't care what place they got specifically. They got last. They got joint last. They lost on the earliest possible part that you could lose on. Last. Anyways, we did get to see more of the German competitors' runs shown in full. So, like, that's always a bonus. We did get to see a bit more of, like, pre-production when they're going over the rules and stuff like that. What I appreciate about this is that they didn't try and stretch this out to, like, a 2 or 3 hour thing. There's not enough material for that. Germany showed up, they flunked out, and then they chilled. And the camera crew decided, we're not going to film them, you know, chilling the whole time. We're just going to make a rapid recap of everything else that happened in the World Cup, so the German audience knows what happened. But, man, that's rough. I would have liked to have seen more, like a little more, like just behind the scenes interactions between competitors. But it's also like, who cares? They got last. They got last. They got the same placement. As far as I know, Renee Cassidy got the same placement as Katsumi Yamada in the World Cup. Simple as that. Like, I don't know how else to sugarcoat it. Now, number 4 is the second A&W Couples Championship. The first one was not very good. It was not. But this one actually had couples who do ninja instead of, like, one ninja and then their spouse or significant other who, like, thinks it's interesting. So there is that. This was definitely much better because you had ninja couples of 2 ninjas who can hold their own on a course. The racing at the end I thought was very fun. The talent was higher. The seating was proper. I thought, yeah, it was good. It was real good. And I thought that the obstacles that were chosen for round 1 for the qualifier, I thought they were all right. I thought they were pretty good. There was nothing that was a pace killer. I liked the relay style format of it at first. There were a couple surprises. It was fun. My con, and this is going to be a recurring theme, round 1 dragged a little bit. A lot of bit. Not dragged. It's just like, it's a 2-hour episode, and without advertisements, that's about an hour and 40 minutes. And the races were about 20 minutes of that episode. And I get it, because there's only 3 races that go on. So it's like the meat of it is going to be the qualifier runs. But it just felt a little too imbalanced for me just to watch 3 runs, 3 races. You know, the 2 playoffs and then the championship. I would have liked to have seen a little more racing, honestly. Just because that's where the excitement came. Especially in the championship. My goodness, that championship race was awesome. But get to number 4. It was a decent special. And I know that they did not film this with A&W 17, but I honestly wouldn't have complained if they did. That's just me speaking. With that said, we are going to jump into our top 3. Number 3, taking the bronze medal this year, keeping its podium streak ever since the very first special in this series has gone on. The A&W Women's Championship, the 4th one. All of these have been like 1st or 2nd. I think this is actually the lowest I've ever had it, in 3rd. But the A&W Women's Championship are awesome. Like, I enjoy them. I'm still glad that they kept everything in Vegas. I thought the final stage was actually pretty intense, and I thought the racing on stage 2 was a lot of fun. But it's the same problem I have with the couples championship. There were 16 competitors on stage 1, and then we saw 4 races on stage 2. Then we saw 3 races on the final. So it's like long. Wrap everything up in about 20 minutes. I would have liked more racing. I would have liked a little less stage 1. It was fine. It was still good. Like, I still think it was good, but I'm just like, less. Sometimes less is more, you know? Sometimes less is more. But very solid special. As far as I'm concerned, there have been 4 A&W Women's Championships. I've enjoyed all 4 of them. They filmed the 5th one for A&W 17. Whether that comes out at the beginning of the season or at the end of the season, time will tell. I'm curious as to what they're going to do, considering the Vegas course. I mean, it's in Vegas, technically. It's just not massive. Yeah, fair enough, Ninja Gamer. That is a good point. The races were a little lopsided. They weren't really races most of the time. And I agree, Evan, that Taylor Green point is dumb. Getting mad because of shoes is stupid. The only person who should be mad about shoes not having traction and failing them is Taylor Green, who lost because of that. Yeah, we're going to jump straight in from number 3 to number 2. Ninja Warrior France, the Clash of Nations, which was France versus the world. This format was super multi-layered and allowed for strategy. Absolutely. Case in point, they used the invisible ladder repechage as a way to eliminate a specific player from a team. Not an entire team, but a specific player. And like, Germany and France sent in the female representatives. They sent Victoria Kramer and Morangelique. Kind of being like, well, if they win, at least we get them on stage 2. But if they lose, we still have our powerhouse competitors for stages 2 and 3. Which I'm like, okay, I see the vision. Team UK was like, we're sending in Tim Champion. He's injured, but he's still strong, and he can wreck some other people if he wins. And that's exactly what happened. Like, the strategy behind stage 1, stage 2, and the whatever, or Steffi, sorry, not Victoria, Steffi. Victoria was the World Cup. I'm getting, yes. I'm getting a little mixed up here. There's a lot of stuff going on in my brain. There's a lot of specials. Thank you for the correction. It was Steffi. But yeah, there were layers there. The Mega Wall was also extra points on stage 1. So people were choosing whether or not to go for the Mega Wall, even if it cost them time. I thought that was a really fun layer of, that was a really fun layer to stage 1. Absolutely. And then they showed important runs, even if they were, like, not the greatest. Case in point, Ayanos. I remember the watch party, we were sitting there, and everyone was complaining that, like, we got fast forwarding. They fast forwarded like all of the female competitors, and freaking, what do you call it? I'm brain farting. It's been a long week, guys. Oh, people were complaining that they showed Ayano like missing the very first step and being all like, "Why'd you fast forward the other people like whoever, not Barclay, but like who else? Who else was it? Not Beth. They fast forwarded Beth. They fast forwarded Moran. They fast forwarded Steffi. Yeah, and they were like, "Why'd you show that?" And it's because quite literally, Ayano's run eliminated Japan. Like that was a pivotal moment in the competition. They kind of had to show that. The cons: Final Frontier broke, and it just turned stage 3 into a speed stage, which made the pacing really, really weird, and the editing got really, really weird. You're right, Poke, but like, I don't know why in my head, I'm like, I just see it as his final run because stage 3 was literally monkey bars, pretty much. I don't know. There's something about it that just made me completely purge his stage 3 run from my mind, but you're right. Anyways, and the French very clearly got more pull on the final stage. It was very clearly rigged for France to win as soon as they got to the final stage. Not that they really needed it, honestly, because there weren't very strong rope climbers in the final anyways. So, yeah. Anyways, that is number 2, which means number 1, the number 1 Ninja Warrior special of 2024. The Sasuke World Cup. I don't think anyone should really be surprised by this. The Sasuke World Cup genuinely has one flaw, and it's that they spent like 25 minutes on Iwamoto attempting stage 3. That's like the one flaw that I have with it. In terms of like, if you had to pick ninjas from around the world who were not teenagers, I think they did the best possible job that they could. They picked active people. They didn't pull people out of retirement. They picked people who had accolades under their belt. They had like good resumes to them, high accomplishments. Stage 1, freaking crazy. Stage 1 is freaking crazy. Okay? Like, absolutely wild stuff. And it was incredibly insane to think Legend was safe at one point. Germany was safe at one point. USA was on the bubble. France was on the bubble. People, it was bad. Dude, the leaderboard was going back and forth the entire time. That was by far the most competitive international ninja competition we have ever seen, which is hilarious because when France was out, I was saying this is the most competitive international ninja competition we've seen. And then this blew it out of the water just 2 months later. Like, holy crap. I also appreciate the spider climb. I'm so glad that we didn't have stage 2 being stage 2. The spider climb was actually a nice twist, although I would have loved to have seen my friends from France go to stage 3. Stage 3 had some pretty good moments. Iwamoto drags the average of stage 3 down a bit, but you still had some pretty solid runs. And quite frankly, Yusuke Morimoto. I am a fan. I'm gonna switch out of this real quick. Yusuke Morimoto, come here, come here. Okay, get close. Yeah, Yusuke Morimoto is probably my favorite current star on Sasuke. I don't care about I don't care, but like Nagano's my favorite competitor of all time. Nagano's in his 50s. He's a smoker. His cardio's trash. He can beat the obstacles. He's never gonna beat stage 1 because of the time limit. All of my favorite competitors from the past, they're not going to win. They're not going to win anything. Out of the people who have a shot at winning, Yusuke Morimoto is my favorite. And I love when Yusuke gets the top result. Sorry, haters. That's just the simple fact behind it. I know that there's a lot of people who were like rejoicing that he fell on the burst in 42 and that Miyaoka got the best result. And like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed those results. Like, I thought it was good from like a storytelling standpoint. I don't think it's bad. But Yusuke Morimoto is the greatest Sasuke competitor of all time. And he's 33. He's going to be, in about 3 years, honestly, 3 to 4 years, out of, like, he's not going to have a shot at a third win. I want to see him get his third win. I want to see him dominate. I want to see him get the third, take all of the records in Sasuke for himself, essentially. And then, whatever happens after that, maybe he just turns into the next 40-year-old Yuji, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But, like, that window is closing. And, as much as people want to, like, complain, oh, I don't want Yusuke to do the best. It's predictable. It's boring. If he Kanzens, it's going to be the most underwhelming thing ever. No, the fuck it's not, bro. If Yusuke Morimoto wins for the third time, that shit's going to be gas. That shit's going to be historic. Historic. It's only been done once before. And it was on a course of just balance obstacles. No disrespect to Ayako, but, like, come on now. No, I disagree. I think he's got 3 more tournaments. 2 for sure. Let's put it this way. Jeff Britton won A&W at 36. Nagano was in his mid-30s. Like, he was older than Yusuke is right now when he won. A lot of people are winning in their 30s. A lot of people were winning in their 30s. And, Yusuke takes care of himself. So, I think he's got 2, 3, maybe 4. But I think 4 might be pushing it. He'll be 37 years old at the time. Agreed, Sierra. If he can break past the burst after it's taken him out 3 times now, that's going to be big. Like, that's going to be big. So, like, I'm always rooting for Yusuke. I am always rooting for Yusuke. Quite frankly, we might get another Yusuke in the future. I know that people are already talking about, Nakashima potentially being the next Yusuke because he's young, he has a bright future. And I agree, he's young, he has a bright future. But I need to see... I can't say that. I can't say that yet. And I don't think any of us can or should say that yet, Like, especially since the course is the same. The course is the same now, and it's a bummer. For all we know, we could have multiple Yusukes in the future because they're just going to become bots on the same course, the same way Yusuke has, Yeah. So I'm a Yusuke guy. I'm a Yusuke fan. And when it comes down to it, you guys are going to end up missing all the Yusuke haters out there. You guys are going to end up missing Yusuke in his prime. You're going to have spent the whole time bitching about it. And then when it's over, you're going to look back on it and you're going to reminisce on it. And you're going to be like, dang, those were the good days. Potentially. If you're... the good days of modern Sasuke. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess like Tom Brady. Yeah, I mean, like, look, there's always going to be people who can... Look, you guys are making, like... Yeah, you're bringing up the potential of other people on the come up and stuff like that. And yeah, there's a chance. There's always a chance. But, like... Another Yusuke? Let's think, like, that's tough. There's always going to be people who are going to have their breakouts and, like, on the rookie season, on their debut tournament, they're going to make it to stage 3. There's going to be people like that. It's just that's a fact. That's a statistic. It's going to happen. But yeah. So anyways, coming back to the ranking here. I mean, Yusuke Morimoto put Japan Red on his back and said, "Don't worry, guys. I'm your captain. I am wearing number 1 for a reason. I got this. Proceeds to be the only person of that tournament to make it to the burst. Even if he fell, he was the only person to make it there in that entire competition. World-class ninjas. I was expecting at least 1 or 2 of them to make it there. And frankly, France not being there is what made France being on stage 3 would have sent like 2 people extra minimum to the burst. Absolutely. But Yusuke Morimoto put the team on his back, got them through stage 3, and then said, put me in the frickin' harness, I'm climbing the tower, and he wins it for Japan Red. Frickin' insane shit right there. Okay? Wild. Some frickin' goated crap. I don't know how else to describe it. Sasuke World Cup had a great ending and 1 flaw. Besides that, I loved it. So it's the number 1 special of 2024. And that is the full list of specials for 2024. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. I know this, you guys are pretty much all like, you know, you guys are all pretty much still on break for school, I would hope. And with that said, we are going to be having a another video in our marathon, a vlog of December. This is the surprise video. There's a lot. This is just literally a bunch of stuff that happened in December. Some of it's ninja, some of it's not. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's just like 25 minutes, I want to say. And, you know, it'd just be cool to, like, hang out. I'd love to see if you guys, like, enjoyed this type of vlog. Because it's not pure ninja, but there's definitely some ninja stuff in there. I hope you like it. I hope you like it. It was my personal favorite to make, for sure. So, there's that. Man. This has been wild, man. I don't want to hopefully you guys are all on the vault and you have watched Sasuke 42 and you have access to the tape of Sasuke 42. But I do want to talk about something since we were kind of on the tangent of Yusuke and the burst for a little while. Yusuke can absolutely clear the burst. His problem is not grip. It is technique. His technique is trash on it. Evan, Billy, and I were in a call and we were like going over the different techniques on the dimension and the different techniques on the burst that were used. And I said this in like a World Cup. I think it was the World Cup stream. I said this as well. But like Yusuke is purely having a technical problem with the burst. He's training it awfully. If he, like, considering he's done it 3 times now, he hasn't learned. He's done it more than anyone else now in competition. What's the difference between Miyaoka and Yusuke's technique? I'm so glad you asked. We're going to face the side here, okay? Vertical limit burst requires a forward grab that will pivot. And the pivot on the spinning section moves both your hands. Your left hand will go higher while your right hand lowers. Now, if you do not slightly, when you grab with your right hand, absorb that and come down just a tiny bit, you are looking at almost a 90-degree drop that you have to catch on your hands. Okay? Miyaoka, and we saw this as well with like Keitaro, and even Tada did this when he got the first transfer. They kind of eased into it and then pops their hand over. They didn't fully turn it to where it was straight down like that, but they lowered it more to make the transition closer, for one, and to make the drop less jarring. Yusuke, we all saw in Sasuke 42, almost ate shit on the very first transition because he grabbed it and then he just went boom. Bro just shot his hand there. This thing whips down on him. He slips, and he insane strength to recover from a vertical limit. Period. It's even crazier to recover from a moving vertical limit. Miyaoka lowered it, made his transfer, he kept going. Same thing again. Now the difference between the first and second transfer and then the fifth and sixth is that the fifth and sixth is bigger. It's a wider grab, so you have to reach a little more. Miyaoka, again, makes the reach. He kind of eases into it, and then he pops. And he can do that because not only is he lowering the gap, making it easier, but he's also giving himself time to aim where his hand is going to be. You miss a hand on the vertical limit, especially that far into it, you're cooked. Yusuke, however, grabs, and he just immediately starts pulling it and tries to go for this grab. That's not physics. The physics behind that is wrong. It is just straight up wrong. It is too much force coming down for you to hold on to your fingertips. Because for that split second, you are on one hand like this. Not only that, but if this is the burst and it rotates that way, your right hand, if it comes all the way down, your left hand is up here, which puts your hand like this. It's super awkward. It's super awkward and just not, again, that's not the physics behind the burst. He's not easing into it. However, before he grabbed the last ledge of the burst, before he went for that reach, bro does a pull-up. He goes from here to reach. And then he pivots. It's not a strength thing for him. It is not a strength thing for him at all. Because if it was a straight line, he'd be fine. If it was another reach forward, like the vertical limit Kai, he'd be fine. It's purely a technical thing. He's not understanding the physics behind the burst. And that was literally the only difference between Miyaoka and Yusuke's techniques. If Yusuke uses Miyaoka's technique, he will clear the burst. And I hope it's in the next two tournaments because I think that's when he has the best shot at getting his third win. Do you think the burst replicas he practices on causes his technique to be like that? Maybe. That's a good point. They don't train on exact replicas of the burst. They rebuild what they can. So every obstacle does work differently. Every salmon ladder is different. Every warped wall is different. Any version of any obstacle is going to be a little bit different than the one that you train on or the one that will be on a TV show or whatever. Even like when I'm doing Lachey's jumping bars for my Sasuke fans, the bars feel different when I go from one gym to another all the time. There are like 5 different types of bars that I've grabbed onto and swung off of. They all feel different. So, I don't think that's a super outlandish thing to say. I wouldn't be surprised if his burst maybe operates differently. But Yusuke also trains around, Yusuke goes around and he trains. He trains with Gio. He'll train with Tada. It's not like he trains on just the one burst. So it is a little concerning. I don't know. I think I think right now, if Keitaro had made it to the burst in 42, I think he probably could have beaten it because he definitely has the technique for it. Tada has the technique. He does not have the grip, but he's improved. And I will always give Tada his credit because, again, bro has improved so much. Nerfed stage 3 and 37, he clears. They put it back to normal in 38. Dimension's working. He fails the dimension. 39 comes around. He beats the dimension, but he fails the vertical limit. 40 comes around. He beats dimension and vertical limit, makes it back to the final. Burst comes around in 41, doesn't even get 2 hands on it, basically. He gets back to the burst in 42. Dimension at this point has been beaten 4 times in a row by this guy. And he makes it way further on the burst than he did in 41. I'm loving the improvement from Tada. I've always loved that. Wasn't Ilian's technique on the first burst rotation similar to Yusuke's? Yes. Yes. And like when you watch Ilian's, he has a solid grip. He tries to go, he pushes it, and he tries to reach at the same time. He's not aiming. He's not absorbing the shock, and he just misses with his hand as well, his left hand, and he drops. Insane. Insane. Like, you gotta finesse the burst. This has been Vertical Limit Burst Talk with Kane-Not-Kosugi. I would love to try Vertical Limit Bursts, man. I don't see it happening for a while. Like, I don't know. No one really makes them in the United States. Brett Sims had one, the original, and I think he deconstructed it. Donovan Matoyer has one. I don't live anywhere near Donovan Matoyer. They sell some on DGS, but DGS has some expensive stuff. Where is it? Where is it? Let me pull this up for you. Wild. Wild. Absolutely ridiculous. $360. And the weird thing is, this is one piece. I'm hoping is this it? Is it just for one piece of the burst? And yeah, Evan, you're right. The ledge of the burst is round. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. So, I will say, rounded ledges on the vertical limit suck. There's two different types of vertical limits. There's there's two different types of vertical limits. Straight edge vertical limits, rounded vertical limits. Both suck in their own way. Straight edge vertical limits, the edge will dig into your fingertips and they burn. They burn like that. It doesn't feel good. And honestly, when I'm on them, it's less of a strength thing for me that makes me fall and more of a, oh my gosh, there is an edge of wood digging into my fingers. This hurts. I need to get off. Like, genuinely. Like, that's, yeah. Rounded vertical limits, they're straight, and then there's a little boop. It kind of looks like a lowercase letter B. It forces you to literally only be on this. Only on, sorry, I'm not even, yeah. Only on, like, these parts of your fingers, these digits. It's not where you can get most, like, some of your finger on, like the flat ones, the straight edge. You have to work around the curve, the letter B part. And so you're out here like this, you're just holding on with less. It's super uncomfortable. And you also can't really dig into the ledge for any extra stability because the edge is round. So it'll slip off if you do that. You have to quite literally, like, find that spot and death grip that sucker. In a way, it's harder. In a way, it's not. Because it is thicker, but it forces your hand shape to be different to where it's like, it's still just as hard. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. I can do pull-ups on both versions, though. I'm going to give myself that. I'm pretty stoked about that. So. I love cliffhangers and vertical limits, man. Trying to find my last vertical limit attempt. I've shown most of you guys it already, but is it this one?
Yep. Oh, I misgrabbed on my finger there.
Okay. Showtime, everybody. I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. This is my most. I've been working hard on this vertical limit at Level Up. It's massive. It is 1/4 of an inch, which is actually less than a centimeter. Sorry. This one, these first two ledges are like 1/2 an inch, which is a little more than a centimeter. But the last ledge is 1/4 inch, which is less than a centimeter. So, here you go.
Yep.
I want to get to that orange.
Oh, I misgrabbed on my finger there.
It was the pain.
Yep.
Literally the pain of the ledge, like, digging into my fingers. When is the trying a Sasuke obstacle every day series continuing? I never had that series. I don't really know. Are you talking about like Skills Sunday? I don't know what you're referring to exactly. But I mean, in terms of Skills Sunday is kind of over. Just cuz no one really watched them or gave me suggestions. So it's just like, at that point I was just training. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to keep training. But see, everyone's speaking up about Skill Sunday when it ended like 9 months ago. Where I needed this when it was happening. Skill Sunday was fun, but I feel like Skill Sunday would have been generally successful if it had gone on for longer, but I was also like, you know what? I did a skills competition to wrap up Skill Sunday, and I literally did way better on skills than I ever had. So it's like, did I need it? And did I need to keep it going? It was a good ending to it. But I have decided we have 3 left after this. I have made the decision because I need the decision. I needed to make the decision. Tomorrow's video, December 31st, ranking all of the ninja shows of 2024. And then in 2025, there will be one final send-off video, a goodbye video. I ask that you do not unsubscribe immediately after 2024 because you're not going to want to miss that last video. I had been kind of messing around with some sketches, some storyboarding, more or less. That was not Calypso, actually. Why do you... It's Calypso, not Calispo. You always do that with the S and the P. That was not her. That was a stray cat out there. Calypso was born as a stray, Sasha and I took care of her outdoors while she was nursing from her mother. I still feed her mother outdoors. In fact, it's 2 o'clock. It's just about time to feed her. I feed her between 2 and 2:30 every day. So, Calypso's mother, father, half brother, all of them, I feed them. There's some other stray cats that will come in here and there. I made them little houses out of plastic bins. And it sounds like there's a fight going on. Calypso has a twin sister and a younger brother, but I don't know where they are. They ran away. I haven't seen them since they were essentially babies. But at least I know how big Calypso is, so I know how big they might be. They're probably going to be a little smaller because Calypso is regularly fed, and those other babies probably are not. Definitely not to the extent Calypso is. So, but there was some crying there, and I'm worried that there was some fights going on. Calypso's mom is the only female cat out there, and, that means that a lot of the male cats, they'll have urges, and there's only one cat to really speak to about that. So, that's a male cat. It's hurt. Give me a second. Yeah, guys, that is my cue to wrap stream. 3 more videos and we'll go. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to watch the vlog tomorrow. Peace.